Welcome to our second lesson in Introduction to Music. In the previous lesson, we introduced ourselves to the basic level, whereby we studied about the staff. We also talked about treble and bass clef and ended our lesson with some sample questions. On the screen, we have some more questions for lesson 1. Number 1, name the following notes found in the treble and the bass clef. The treble and the bass clef. Question 2, write the following notes on a staff as found in the treble clef. G on a line, F in a space, E in a space, D on a line, F on a line, C in a space. Question 3, write the following notes on a staff as found in the bass clef. D on a line, B in a space, A on a line, C in a space, F on a line, B on a line, G on a line. In lesson 2, we are going to start from note values. And before we begin, I would like to kindly request you to like, subscribe, and share in order to receive notifications once videos are uploaded. In lesson 2, we are going to study about note values. In the previous lesson, we said that a note is a symbol used to represent a sound. Each note represents a duration as well as a sound, depending on its position on the staff. The notes will always be placed in a line space sequence in whatever form. What we are saying is that one can arrange notes on a staff in whatever form in which one is interested with. If, however, we want to add a stem to the notes, it is important to place them correctly. For example, if the note is placed above the third line, the stem is placed on the right side, pointing upwards. If the note is placed below the third line, the stem is placed on the left side, pointing downwards. If the note is placed on the third line, the stem can be placed on either position. We have got several types of notes, and below are the most commonly used. We have whole note, whose value is 1, and it is demonstrated using a small oval. We have a half note, whose value is a half, and it is demonstrated a small oval with an elongated stem. We have quarter note, whose value is a quarter, and it is demonstrated by a small oval with a stem, and the oval is shaded. We have eighth note, whose value is an eighth, and it is demonstrated by an oval with a stem and one hook. Then we have 16th note, whose value is 1/16, and it is demonstrated by a small oval with a stem and 2 hooks. Let's take a look on a detailed study of the type of notes. We have the first type of note, the whole note, whose other name is semibrief, and its value is 4 bits. That is ta, a. The second type of note is a half note, whose other name is minim, and its value is a half the value of the whole note, that is 2 bits, ta, ha. The third type of note is the quarter note, whose other name is crochet, and its value is just 1 bit, that is ta, ta. The other type of note is the eighth note, whose other name is quiver, and its value is a half the value of the crochet, that is tate. This first ta is a half of this ta, 1 bit of the crochet. So 1 ta represents a half of the crochet. So 2 semi-quivers, 2 quivers make 1 crochet. The other type of knot is 16th knot, whose other name is semiquiver, and its value is a half the value of the quiver, that is tafatefe, 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 tafatefe. This first ta is a half of this ta in the quiver. The other fa is a half of the ta in the quiver. So this tafa in this position, this tafa, it is the same as this ta. Let's take a look on the knot tree, whereby we can see that the structure begins with the whole knot, for it is the longest of duration of this table. From the semibrief, which is the longest of the duration, we can see that it branches into 2 minims, meaning that a semibrief is made up of 2 minims. So addition of 2 minims results to a semibrief. From the table, we can see that each minim branches into 2 crochets, meaning that a minim is made up of 2 crochets. So the addition of 2 crochets results to a minim. We can also see that each crochet branches into 2 quivers, indicating that a crochet is made up of 2 quivers. We can also see that each quiver branches into 2 semiquivers, meaning that a quiver is made up of 2 semiquivers. From the knot tree, we can see that semibrief is the longest duration in this table, and it is made up of 2 minims. The minim itself is made up of 2 crochets. A crochet is made up of 2 quivers. A quiver is made up of 2 semi-quivers. We can also see that 4 quivers make a minim, and 8 semi-quivers make a minim. We can also see that 16 semi-quivers make a whole knot, which is semi-brief. To simplify your musical reading, Certain knots group together to complete the duration of time. A beam is used to join these knots. For example, to beam two quivers, we use a single beam. To group together four semiquivers, we can use a double beam to mean there are four semiquivers, or use a single and double beam in which the single beam knot indicates a crochet and the double beamed knots indicates semiquivers, two semiquivers, for we know two semiquivers make one quiver, and a quiver is made up of two semiquivers. Our next subtopic is about the value of rests. A rest is a symbol used to represent silence. So a rest is a silent note. There exist different types of rests, and below are the most commonly used. We have whole rest, which is represented by a line with a small shaded rectangle facing downwards. We have a half rest, which is represented by a line with a small shaded rectangle facing upwards. We have quarter rest, which is represented by this sign. We have eighth rest, which is represented by this sign. We have 16th rest, which is represented by this sign. Each sign is equivalent to its corresponding knot, therefore it is worth the same value. The whole rest is equivalent to 2.5 rests, and so on. What we are saying is that the value of silence of rests is equivalent to the value of their corresponding knots. That is, the value of silence of a whole rest is equivalent to the value of a whole knot. That is 4 beats, the way we have seen in a whole knot. The value of silence of a half knot, or rather a half rest, is the same as the value of minim. The other types of rest, that is quarter rest, eighth rest, and 16th rest, follow the same manner. That is, their value of silence is the same as the value of their corresponding knots. On the screen, we have an exercise on knot values. Number 1. Indicate by using one knot the equivalent to the following group of knots. We have 7 questions. You indicate using one knot the equivalent to the group of knots. Number 2. Write other knots that are the same value as the knots given. We have 4 questions. You write other knots that have the same value as the knots given on the screen. We have number 3. Write the number that correctly completes the sentence. We have 8 questions. You fill in the gaps with the correct number that completely completes the sentence correctly. We also have an exercise on the value of rests. Number 1, complete the following examples by using a rest. We have 6 questions. We have number 2, indicate by using 2 rests equivalent to the examples below. We have 4 questions. We have number 3, complete the following sentences by adding in the correct number. We have 8 questions. You fill in the gaps by adding the correct number. The exercises brings us to the end of our lesson, and in the third lesson we shall start from the repeat signs. Thank you for watching. See you in our next class.